Ben Hearn, the realtor, with another market watch for Ardmore for the month of June, doing both Lower Merion and Haverford Township. And there are a bunch of homes. Spring market, a lot of homes go up, so a lot of them are closing. Quickly get to them, but before we do, I did want to touch on the state of the real estate market. If you follow the news, the last 2 weeks have been pretty nuts. So we definitely are on transitional, I guess I'll say, market right now, where the spring was like so strongly in the seller's favor. Home would go up, and within 4 days it would be sold. There would be like 5 to 10 offers. People would be waiving inspections, this and that. Nationally, it definitely has changed. In our area, it has slowed down, not as badly like as in the city in Philly or in other places, just because, again, people want to get in our school districts and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not the same. Like, houses are sitting a little longer. If you're listing your home, you really have to nail that price. You don't want to overprice it, because then you have to do a price drop. We're seeing a little more price drops. I don't know. I want to say there's more inventory, but there's not. And I'll show you a stat. And I do want to say that, if you are thinking of buying or selling, you might think, is now a good time to buy or sell? And depending on who you ask, they'll tell you it is a good time to buy. But somebody else will say it's not a good time. Whereas somebody will be like, oh no, it's a good time to list. And then another realtor will say, no, it's not a good time to list. And there's data to back up all of their opinions. So it's kind of tough right now. And it's like, it's true. It is good in time. So it's a good time to list right now, because the market, like, the home prices aren't crashing. They're just flattening out, right? So you're still getting like historically good prices for your homes. And then the rates might raise in the fall again, which would further like dampen buyers' buying power. So they wouldn't be able to afford as much as they can now. Except it's not a good time to sell, because rates have already risen past 6, so buyers can't afford as much as they could 2 months ago. A lot of buyers have been burnt out. A lot of buyers are like on vacation, taking a break. So it's good and bad. And for the buying, it's the same thing. It's a good time to buy because there's not as much competition, and the rates have risen, but they actually might raise like even more. So it's going to decrease your buying power. But it's also not a good time to buy, because if home prices go down even more and the rates don't go up, then you might be able to save some money in a month or two. And like, the rates have already risen to 6, so you've already probably gotten squeezed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, just, it can be spun any different way. It just depends on like what you are trying to get out of like your real estate transaction. So if you are trying to move and you don't know if it's the right time, and you don't know who to talk to, I would love to be resourced. My contact info is at the bottom of this email. And I'll just kind of present to you like, hey, this is what we're seeing, and try to shoot you straight and hopefully help you make a decision that benefits you and what you're trying to do with your real estate goals. All right, so I'm going to share the screen, get into homes, except before that, despite me saying we can show you any data, I am going to show you some data. Something just to, I guess, help with perspective. So there's a whole lot of numbers here. MSI, this is month supply of inventory. It shows how many months it would take for the current inventory of homes on the market to sell, given the current pace of home sales. The lower the number, the more of a seller's market. The higher the number, the more of a buyer's market. A balanced market is six months. As you can see, it has not been a buyer's market in the last year plus. But I did, aside from like May and June last year, June, that was somewhat anomalous for it to be 3.2. It's been like steady in the ones. December was 0.9. I mean, that was a brutal time for buyers out there. Just there was no inventory. But you can see this, like spring, it was 2.6 in March. Then it dropped down to 1.6. Then it went back to 2.3. And then right now it's actually at 1.4. So, this is a trend. Like, it is not the same market that it was 2 months ago. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like it's some like great market to be a buyer in either. If that number was like 4 or 5, then yeah, that, like, if you were a seller, you definitely would have to adjust your price big time. You still have to adjust your price, but I think you mainly have to adjust your expectations. If you think you're going to slap on any price and get it sold within 3 days, that's just not really happening right now. But if your home's in pretty good condition and it's in a pretty good location and you price it pretty well, you're still going to get a lot of interest on it. So yeah, just manage your expectations if you're a seller. And all right, so we're going to go to, what do we have first? Haverford Township. So there's a bunch of homes, 37 homes that have had some kind of real estate activity, whether that is a new listing or they had a price drop or they're under contract or pending, which are kind of synonymous, or they recently sold. As you can see, there's not that many active homes. There's a bunch under contract and pending. So we're going to jump right into the closed homes. 2014 Morris, that was 2.5% below asking for 390. That was on the market 16 days. Lorraine Street, that was 415. That was 12% above asking. Old Cotswold for 540. That was 8% above asking. And that was on the market for 6 days. And this spring, 8%, like, there's nothing unique or special about that. Like, it's kind of crazy because normally something selling for 8% is a lot, but that was just kind of par for the course for the spring. So the times, when we see something 20%, 25% over asking, I don't know how much of that we'll see anymore. So yeah, the market has shifted. 507 Haverford Court, 11% above asking. I mean, we still might see that depending on if the homes are really good and they set a really good price on it. This one on Haverford Road was 2.4% above asking for 430. This one on Oak Ford for 465 was 16% above asking. So all the stuff I'm doing in the video, you can do too. It's the black button you click and you can scroll through the pictures. You can check out the history. You can go see all the facts about the home, utilities, square footage, lot size, etc. And this one on Wynwood Road for 370, that was slightly above asking. 715 Cricket, that was actually for 375. This one on Belmont ended up getting 650, and that was 8% above asking. So on Haverford through 300 was slightly above. So like even during the spring market, that was super nuts. Even if you just gave like asking or slightly above, you could win a home sometimes. Again, just depending on the condition and how well they priced it. On that same token, this one was 23% above asking. So that's like some buyer fell in love with this house. They needed to have it. I mean, it's a really gorgeous looking interior. So they just said, here, take my money. This one on Hazelwood got 488. That was 15% above asking. So that's, I mean, we're seeing a bunch, at least all over our area, anywhere from like 5 to 20%. But I think next month we're going to start to see a little less of that. Shawnee, that was 13% for 886. This one on Hazelwood was 395. That was 5% above asking. This one, 301, 5% above asking. So I'm trying to do these pretty fast. There's a lot. This one on Haverford Road for 710. They pretty much got what they were asking for. This one on Haverford for 350, right on the dot. This one on Belmont 520, 4% above asking. Valley View Road, this one had a big, 20% above asking. I wonder if that was intentional with that price. It was listed at 900. And I mean, the inside's nice. And that was on the market 5 days. And this last one on St. David's was 11% for 877. All right, now we have Lower Merion. So there's only 2 active homes that have had some kind of real estate activity. Marlborough Road, that one just became active. That's a very, very cute little enclave, I guess. I don't know what to call it. 18 Simpson, that had a price drop. 205 Glen is pending for 27. Again, I would encourage you to check out some of these homes. I mean, that is just gorgeous. All right, so going to the closed homes. Church Road, slightly above asking for 675. Wellington ended up closing at 485, and that was 13% above asking. This one on Ardmore Ave was 388. That was 5% above asking. This condo was 13% above asking. This condo was sold for 629, the list price, 222 Chestnut Ave, that was slightly above asking for 447. Simpson Road here for 525, that was 9% above asking at 525. This Glen Road, I mean, talk about curb appeal, my God. 2.8, that was 5% below asking, that was on the record. And the last one, Walnut, that was slightly above asking, 250, 50. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So that's all it was. Like I said, right now, nuts in real estate. It's just a very topsy-turvy time. But yeah, depending on what you want, it's still maybe worth it to list or to buy. And if you have some questions and you want to see the state of the market in other towns, or you want to, I don't know, find out how many active listings there are versus how many pending versus how many closed, etc., I can get you all that data. And then obviously, if you need someone to help you buy or sell, I would love to help out. And that's all I got. Have a great 4th of July weekend. If you're seeing this after, I hope it was fun for you. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye.